Hi, and welcome to the Boat Princess podcast. My name is Nicky Vaux, and I'm your host. I'm a boat owner, a marinas owner, an international conference presenter, and a huge advocate for boating. I'm sharing the stories from every nook of the boating industry with the intention of encouraging more women to join me and for more women to get behind the helm too. I want to share the experience and opportunities of boating, of the boating industry, and I want you to join me as I bring the conversations and answer all the questions you've had. Boating is not just for the glamorous and rich and famous. It's full of beautiful and interesting people making the most of our natural environment and getting out there enjoying the waterways. So let's let off the lines, take over the helm, and escape to the world of boating. Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Boat Princess podcast. She was given an award last year as a rising star at the Boat Builder Awards at Met's Trade, and she truly is that, and she's an incredible woman. So we're going to be talking to Josie Eastman from Eden Craft. Welcome, Josie.
Thanks, Nicky. That's a very warm welcome.
So you are based in Geelong in Melbourne. Is that where you grew up or?
Yeah, born and raised down in Geelong. I think we moved there when I was about 2. So absolutely love it and live and breathe Geelong. I'm a big Geelong advocate.
Love it. Yeah. Nice part of the world.
Oh, it's beautiful. Great Ocean Road, beaches. I honestly think it's the best place in the world except for the weather.
Fair enough. Yeah. 4 seasons in one day is quite a possibility there, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So after you've done school and everything, what did you did an international business degree, didn't you? Why did you pick that?
So I actually originally wanted to do event planning, and then I went traveling. I went to a couple events and I was like, this looks really stressful being the event planner. So I wanted to move into something where I could organise and sort of run my own show but travel. And then I met someone studying international business and I was like, this sounds perfect for me. So that's how I jumped into that.
And what does that degree involve?
So it's your sort of typical business management systems, and then you learn a lot about importing, exporting, international trade, communicating internationally, like with different cultures and things like that. So it was great. I think when I was at uni, I did 2 trips. So I got to go to China for 3 weeks on like a study tour. And then I also went to Seattle as well for 2 weeks.
Wow, that's literally 2 sides of the world.
Yeah.
Both culturally and distance-wise, isn't it? Yeah. So what do you feel that degree gave you?
I think it gave me a bit of confidence in my ability and sort of trust in your gut, but then also having the fundamentals in the back of my mind of like, yeah, this is how it should be done. And then just putting it into action. I was pretty fortunate to be able to work in family business while I was at uni. So I'd literally be able to learn some things and then implement it straight into work, which was pretty cool.
Fantastic. Okay, so you've done your degree and then what happens? Where did you do your degree?
I did my degree at RMIT in Melbourne.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you've done that. What did you do next?
So halfway through my degree, we brought Eden Craft. So I was in my mid-semester break and Dad had said to me, can you just go check out the bookwork at Eden Craft? And then I literally never left after that. So for the last year and a half of my degree, I was working full-time at Eden Craft and just loving every bit of being in the boating industry.
But that wasn't we had a good chat at an event the other night. That wasn't actually what you thought your life was going to be, right? You didn't think you were going to work in the family business, did you, originally?
No, I definitely had a bit of a complex growing up, not wanting to come across as that typical like spoilt person that just works in the family business and gets everything handed to them. So I definitely for a while had a bit of issues with wanting to work for mum and dad. They wanted me to come and work for them for a long time and I just kept saying no, and I wanted to do my own thing and work hard on my own terms and not really feel like well, I know that I work hard and they weren't handing everything to me, but it was more judgment of others, which I've obviously let that go now. But yeah when I was younger, I definitely didn't want to be painted in that light. So I really wanted to be able to do my own thing and run my own show before I jumped into the family business.
So you actually worked for some other people before you started for your mum and dad, didn't you?
Yeah, just like your sort of standard jobs when you're young. So cafes, restaurants, Safeway, Adventure Park down in Geelong. It's like a theme park. So I just loved working at all of those types of places. I loved cafes and restaurants, serving people and making good coffee and, just getting to learn how to communicate and serve other people and put smiles on faces.
Yeah, we learn a lot working in a cafe, don't we?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dealing with so many different people.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And number one thing was always make sure they're not thirsty. So
fair enough. But yeah, I think we learn a lot about people working in hospitality and about problem solving, don't we?
Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes if you're stuffed up an order or you misheard or, the chef's made something bad and you go there and you see their face when you drop the food and you're like, oh no, this is not good.
Yes.
Quickly apologise, get them a free drink and get the food back out and the problem sorted.
Yeah. So those service principles are something you're bringing through to the company now. So we're going to go back to Edencraft now, but Edencraft itself has the hull actually has a really interesting history, doesn't it?
Yep.
With the whole Don Aronow story.
Yeah.
Fascinating to read about him putting that hull together and it being the origin of the word cigarette for the cigarette boats, right?
Yeah.
And also that fascinating story about him selling the boats to the drug cartels and the US government at the same time, which ended up him being murdered, right? Yeah. So tell us how that evolved from there sort of thing. So he's built he's designed this 233 hull. I think John Haynes Sr. brought it over here, didn't he? Yeah. Of course, the Haynes family are an amazing boating family as well. So tell us the story of the hull from there and how you guys have evolved.
Yep. So from then on, I think when Haynes got into a little bit of trouble at some point, they sold a bunch of their moulds and a man called Ron Doyle brought them and he was based down in Eden and he owned a bunch of car dealerships. So he went and picked the most popular hull moulds, had never built boats before and brought them down to Eden and hired a guy called Eric Highland who actually owns White Pointer boats, fiberglass boats. And they started building boats and they were like, well, what do we call it? And they were in Eden, so they thought Edencraft, perfect name for it. And then from then on, they built really hardcore commercial fishing boats. So known to just be absolute workhorses. You can go out in any weather and you're going to get home safe and you can put a bunch of abs in them and it's going to be able to go there quick and come home quick. So they really set up like an incredible brand at that point for reliability and performance. And then from then on, the business changed hands a fair few times and we bought it in 2016 and sort of didn't really realise what an incredible brand we were given at the time, I think. The first year and a half of owning Edencraft, we really got to learn more and more about the history and we're like, this story and this brand is just insane and the boats are amazing. So we just wanted to be able to share that literally like with the world. Probably sounded like a bit of an idiot when I was like 21 and we were building like 8 boats a year and I'm like, I want Edencraft to be a global company. So
never stop the dream.
Yeah. So it sort of started at that point, seemed probably a bit ridiculous at the time, but feels like we're slowly getting there to potentially getting like that, maybe another 10 years time and hopefully everyone around the globe knows Edencraft and the brand and the history.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I love the way that you've put the history on the website. That's really great to actually, because everyone loves a story of where a brand has come from and how it has evolved. So I think that's really good that that's on your website. It's good.
Yeah, it is incredible and we really love it and it's just so cool to have something like that behind you too. And yeah, we really froth on it.
Yeah, that's brilliant. So you now have a bunch of models. You do the 255 formula, the 233 formula, the classic and the 6 offshore. So and the 565. So you've got 5 models that you're building at any one time, right?
Yep.
You've got now that they weren't built where they are built now, are they? You moved to a specific purpose-built facility in Geelong, presumably to make life easy for your commute.
Yep.
Yeah. So tell me about that facility and tell me about those models.
Yep. So about 7 years ago now we moved to a purpose-built facility. So now we have 4 businesses, but at the time of buying Edencraft, we had 2. And one was being run out of a factory in Moolap where we're based now, and the other one was in Newtown, so both in Geelong. And then we moved to another factory in Moolap. It's literally 4 minutes away from mum and dad's house, so very, very close. And we built a purpose-built lamination shed, joining shed, fit out, and then we have a service centre, and we also have Edencraft Creative, which is our side of the business that has a 5-axis CNC machine. And so the models, when we brought the business, they were only building the 6-metre offshore and the 233 Classic. And as soon as we took over, we wanted to make the finishes of the boats a lot nicer. So we knew that they performed well. They were incredibly well built, but aesthetically they could do with a little bit of work. So we went to town on making new molds, which is certainly a bigger challenge than what you anticipate when you have never made a fiberglass mold before.
Yeah, quite a challenge. Yeah.
A lot of learning curves in the first couple of years, rebuilding all of our molds. One, so that they finished came out nicer. We didn't have to do so much detailing once a part was released from the mold. And 2, to try and make some things a little bit easier for production. So they joined a little bit better. Makes
it more efficient as well, right?
Yeah.
So that's a big process, putting that all together. That new facility and those new processes.
Yeah, it happened pretty quick. I think parents have always been business owners, and I think when they decided they want to do something, and I think I've definitely adopted some of those traits, is like when we decide we want to do something, we just start doing it and get it done like really bloody quick. So when we moved in to the factory, it was over Christmas. So as business owners, you don't generally take that much time off. And it was like Christmas break. And it's like, all right, we've got 2 weeks. We're shut. We're going to move from 2 different factories, everything into the new one, and be ready to go like January 5th.
Wow.
So that's how it happened. And it happened really quick. And then we're in our new offices and got the main fundamentals up pretty quick. But then I think it took us about 3 years to paint the offices. If you come to our office, we actually still don't have windows in like 3 of the offices in the middle, because originally we had the holes for the windows, and we just liked being able to yell out to one another basically. And then we just still haven't put windows in like 3 of the offices. So it's probably about time. It's been 8 years. So
yeah. Wow. Okay. So you talking that story actually reminds me of when we took over our restaurant at our marina at Bobbin Head.
Yeah.
And Darren was painting the ceiling at exactly the same time. Yeah. They left on the tenant left on 31st of December. We opened on the 2nd of January, and we literally just did everything overnight and literally through the night.
Yeah.
And, the plumbers were in at 3:00 in the morning, and it was just mad. But that's just what you do, right?
Yeah.
You're a business owner.
Yeah, you just make it happen. Yeah, you open up the doors, it probably still smell like paint on the first day.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but that reminded me solidly of that. Yeah. So what do you think is what is the kind of fundamental of Edencraft as a brand?
For us, it really is bringing joy to people. Like a lot of our customers, it's been their dream to own an Edencraft. And then when you get to make that happen and you get to be a part of that whole process, all our boats are custom built, and you work with them for however many months it is, 6, 12, however long it is. A lot of our customers will inquire, and then maybe 2 or 3 years later is the time when they can actually get to buy the boat. And you build that friendship from then on, and you see them at boat shows and they come to our Edencraft events, and it is seriously incredible. We love it. Like, you end up becoming friends with all of your customers. Some of our customers are literally like family now. It's so special. And then just seeing their smiles on their faces, especially predominantly our customers are sort of like your middle-aged man, and when they come and pick up their boat and they see it drive down the driveway and they have tears in your eyes, it's the most incredible thing. So yeah, that is really the most special part of doing it, and it's really the big driver of why we do it as well.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And you have a family day, don't you?
Yep.
Yeah.
So every November, third Sunday of November, we invite basically anyone who has an Eden Craft and anyone who loves Eden Craft. So we do joyrides. So we normally get around like 30 boats. So 30 of our customers will come down and bring their boats. And then literally, like, if you've wanted to go in an Eden Craft or you want to buy an Eden Craft or you just want to go for a ride, we invite everyone down to Geelong, and then we take them on joyrides. So our customers will like do that out of the goodness of their hearts. It's amazing. And like they get such a kick out of it as well, because they're taking 4 people on their boat and the people on their boat are telling them how good their boat is, and they love it. And then we go back to the Eden Craft factory and we have sort of like a mini trade show. Our suppliers will come down and have stalls. We'll have a jumping castle, some food, some drinks. It's a great day. It's definitely, I would say it's probably my favourite day of the year.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah. Oh, what a wonderful thing. And so predominantly your boats are fishing?
Yeah.
Yeah. And the hull specifically is designed for our fairly rough waters that we have here in Australia. Is that your client mainly? Is that their focus?
Yeah. So typically speaking, our customer is someone who loves fishing. Generally they are a business owner or they work a lot and they have that 2 weeks that they might take off and they want to go fishing and they want to be able to use their boat even if the weather isn't that favourable. So a lot of the time they'll buy our boat because they know that they can go out and get home safe, or especially like obviously the weather can change at any point. So they want to know that they can go out and if the weather does turn that they're going to get home safely, especially if they've got kids and stuff as well. That's a huge driver. And yeah, mainly fishing. Our 255 that we've just recently released, that's sort of to bridge the gap. So it still has all the hardcore fundamentals of a fishing boat, but aesthetically it looks beautiful. It's got cushions, it's got more seats. One of our workers, he actually has a 6 metre and he's had one for 10 years, and his wife, Alice, the first thing when she saw the 255, she's like, oh my God, it's got seats. So yeah, it's trying to bridge that gap to make boats that really suit the guys or girls when they want to go hardcore fishing, but then you can also cruise around in the Sydney Harbour with seats and you can set up like a little picnic on the boat and enjoy it.
Yeah, fantastic. Isn't it interesting how women look at boats completely differently to men? And we want different things on boats.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I play a big part in the R&D team with the new models and innovation, and I'm always harping on about a toilet, and I'm in a room with 8 other guys, and the battle to try and get a toilet on a boat is never ending.
Yeah, it's easy for them. They just go off the side.
Yeah.
We need something, don't we? Yeah. Oh yeah, women do. I do influence design on boats quite a lot, I think. So you as the person so heavily involved in this business, do you get involved in that side of it at all?
Yep. So every week we have a R&D meeting, sometimes 2 a week when we're getting a bit closer to finalising a design of a new boat. But yeah, I have a big play in the aesthetic and the colours and, yeah, making sure there's room for toilets or extra seats. And what we really want to try and do is make sure that when someone buys a boat, it's completely custom, but if they want to add something, we've already thought of it and there's a provision to do it. So that's sort of what my main role is, I think, in R&D.
Yeah. So you're in R&D.
Yep.
And what's your actual title kind of thing? What are you, just everything? Or
I'm the general manager of Eden Craft International, which is our boat building side.
Yeah.
Eden Craft Creative, which is our plug and mold making facility, and then Eden Craft Marine, which is our service centre. Okay.
So what's the plug and mold? Tell us about that.
So last year we brought a 5-axis CNC machine. And
what's a CNC machine for the listeners?
So it is like a big robot that mills out, so it's subtractive manufacturing. So it mills out a big bit of foam essentially, and that will form, say, a hull plug, and a hull plug is what you use to make the mould, and the mould is what you use to make the part.
Okay. So what sort of parts are we talking about here that you guys make?
So literally everything for our 255 we made with our machine. So the hull, the deck, the floor, the stringers, keel, seat boxes, hard top, all the small parts, literally everything. So we made 56 plugs and molds. So we made all the plugs, and then the molds are all labour intensive, but the machine does all of the milling for the plugs. So we started that on the 1st of November, and we actually launched the boat on the 1st of March. So in like 4 or 5 months, we were able to go from starting to mill the plugs to putting the boat on the water, which is why we brought the machine, because we wanted to speed up the process from design and innovation to actual boat on water.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
And so are you who designs those plugs? Who does all that for you?
So we've got Sean, so he's our main designer, but it's all in conjunction with our design team. So it's myself, Tom, who's our operations manager for Eden Craft Creative. He was a boat builder. Paddy, who's my husband, he's a fit out manager. My dad, Kirby, and then Joel Ryan, he's down at the boat show today. He's just started with us in the last 3 weeks, and he's owned an Eden Craft for 10 years. So that formulates our design team. And then we also have some naval architects over in WA. And so when we get to a concept, we send it to them, and then they'll run it through all of their computer things.
Testing.
Test everything, yeah. And then they'll send back some recommendations on what we should do different, or if we should move the fuel tank like 20 mil forward or make it 20 mil wider, all of those sort of things to make sure that we're going to have a boat that performs incredibly and is really safe and well balanced. And then from there, we'll finalize the design, and then we will also send it out to our dealers. So it's a pretty involved process, and just get any feedback. So by the time we are ready to start milling the plugs, that we're pretty sure that we've nailed the design.
Amazing.
Yeah.
It's really interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's an exciting part of it, especially when you sort of think of a concept, and then in, say, 8 months' time, it's like a real life object that's, out there in the middle of the ocean.
Making somebody happy fishing.
Yeah.
Yeah, love it. Love it. I'd like to thank our sponsors, Quality Marine Clothing, for the amazing clothing they do for us, all logoed for the Boat Princess. We love that. They, of course, are the place to go to for uniforms for your super yacht crew, your marina crew, or, frankly, anybody that's got a company that needs uniforms. Quality Marine Clothing is the place to be. So, you really are a solid family business then, because your husband's there.
Yeah.
Your dad's there. Grant's dad's name, by the way, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. And does your mum get involved as well, Kerry?
Yeah, so mum does all the finance and any event. Like mum's just a little social butterfly. So Kerry is mum, and she just loves it. So like boat shows, family days, she's always there. She's always brings the vibes pretty much. So she does that, and then the finance in the office.
Yeah. And how does that go for you working as a family? Does it have its moments or?
It's pretty good. I do think we're pretty fortunate. I'm a very cruisy sort of, I wouldn't say I'm cruisy. I'm pretty organised and like strict in what I do, but I'm relatively relaxed. I don't really get that angry. Mum's a bit of a firecracker. My brother's a firecracker. Dad's pretty chilled out most of the time. My husband's just an absolute chiller. So it's never really any drama. Sometimes there's probably not the best office communication down the hallways, but we've got a bit better at that, I think, recently. And actually at the moment I'm living with mum and dad because we've had to Airbnb our house out.
Oh, wow.
So that probably the last 6 months has probably been a bit of a challenge, working together and then going back home and living together the whole time. Mum loves to talk about work when we're home. I don't. Dad doesn't. So, that's entertaining, but it is great.
Yeah. And in some ways, the positive side of it is you probably know what each other's thinking as well, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I think you can. So sometimes maybe I can. We definitely can understand what's going on without really having to have a proper conversation, but sometimes people can be a bit oblivious. So you got to just tell them how it is.
Yeah.
That's mum and dad I'm talking about too.
Well, it's wonderful that you're working. I mean, lots of us lots of people as a family don't get to spend time together because dad's doing this, mum's doing that, the kids doing this, and you don't see as much of each other. So having a family business like that, I mean, that's pretty special. You actually get all that time together.
Yeah.
I think that's something precious that a lot of us miss out. I've been lucky enough to spend a lot of time with my boys when they grow up and so on, but and my husband, because we work together. But it's something special about working together that get that time, because everybody knows life is incredibly short. So that's kind of special.
Yeah, it is. It's really special. And we work so much, especially myself and Paddy, my husband. So if we didn't work together, he plays footy as well. I used to play netball. So if we didn't work together, we actually have lunch together every day. Our dog comes to work and we love it. Like lunch is our favourite time, and we literally hardly ever get to spend time together except for when we're having lunch at work. So it is incredibly special. And yeah, really, I definitely don't take it for granted. I know how lucky I am, and especially that we all get along so well. I know that a lot of other people might not have been able to do that with their family. So yeah, I'm very blessed.
Yeah, lovely. So we started this podcast by talking about an award you won in the Boat Builder Awards at Met's Trade. What a great night that was, by the way.
Oh, it's incredible.
It was lovely, wasn't it? That venue is amazing, isn't it? I think it's the Maritime Museum, isn't it, in Amsterdam. Quite an incredible night. I have to say, I didn't know you before you got up on that stage. And there was this ridiculously proud tear in my eye when you got up on stage, because you were an Australian young woman getting up on stage taking an award in an international location. So I was really honoured to be there to see that.
Oh, thank you.
But how has life changed for you since that happened?
I definitely have had a little bit more confidence putting myself out there. That night I was so nervous. I don't think I've ever been more nervous in my whole life than when I was there.
You didn't show it.
Oh, I was literally like shaking when I got there. Tried to calm down. I had a few champagnes that just did not help. But yeah, definitely I think it's opened a few doors, but just being able to put the brand out there as well, and people are wanting to work with Edencraft a little bit more, and it's probably just put us on a little bit of a spotlight that wouldn't have happened without that award. It's been weird because I'm not one for self-accolades. I really struggled with the post-award interview because they wanted to know how I felt, and I couldn't articulate it without talking about work. I felt so sorry for the interviewer. He's like, try again. I was like, I'm so sorry. It means more about my team and I could not do it without my family and our team at work. We've been so fortunate to have a lot of our workers work with us for a really long time, and I feel like my job's pretty easy because of them. So yeah, work incredibly hard, obviously, but yeah, it's pretty cool being able to have that. Feels still surreal, really. Yeah. That is a lovely thing about owning your own business, isn't it? You do employ people, and you do feel privileged to do that, and blessed when you get really good ones. Yeah. Because you're so grateful that they're on your team, literally. Yeah. And that's a really lovely feeling, which I get to experience myself. Yeah, it's a really good thing. And but you've done some speaking events since, haven't you? You spoke at Amex this year, didn't you? Up at Sanctuary Cove. How did that go? Yeah, that was pretty good. I think it went okay. It was only my second time ever public speaking. I actually spoke before that at a composites conference, and that definitely wasn't my best moment. I was very nervous for that, but it was a really good learning curve. I probably speak really quick anyway, but I really spoke very fast when I did the composites conference speech. It was meant to go for about 18 minutes when I practiced it, and I did it in 12. So absolutely motor mouth through it. But it was a really good learning curve to just sort of relax a little bit and not be so tense and enjoy it and actually smile. So yeah, the young professionals lunch, when I spoke at that, I think it was a little bit better, and just tried to be a little bit less stressed and more authentic, and it felt a lot easier, and I felt actually happier after it than when I spoke a few weeks earlier. I was so stressed after. Yeah, interesting. And I think that's something we need to tell to young women out there, that public speaking, sure, it's scary, but it is literally practice. Yeah. And the more you do it,
the more confident you get out there. Being prepared is essential.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've got to have your presentation really schmick when you get up on there. But I find the more I do it, the more I ad-lib.
Yeah.
And the more I so now I'll have a slide of just some photos just to remind me of what I'm talking about, and then I'll just blah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's literally, I was so prepared for the composites conference talk that I did. My speech was like really good. I was like so happy with it. And then when I was practicing, I forgot a whole paragraph. So then when I went to go do it, I was like too scared to look up because I was worried that I was going to forget some things. And straight away after, I've been pretty fortunate. I've got a mentor, Kyle, who's a manufacturing director of Riviera, and he was there and he gave me the exact same feedback. So he said, next time, like practice, but then for your slides, like don't even take up your written speech, just have photos and then talk to the photos because you're just talking about everything that you know anyway. Going up on a stage shouldn't make you forget everything that you already know.
Yeah. Oh, that's so nice of him.
Yeah.
What
it's
a
good
nice
advice.
thing to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it's simple advice, but it's supportive advice.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Which is so nice to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. And it's interesting, little people that come into your life like that, and you listen to them and you grow because of it, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you find that you have, as a person, grown for doing those different things that you've done since?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I've definitely just turned into a little bit of a yes person. So just say yes to everything. It might be scary and challenging, but you know it's going to make you better. And even if it doesn't go perfectly, something good might come of it anyway. So that composites conference, we got a fair bit of work out of it for our 5-axis milling machine, which is great. So it was a success on that side, and it was a huge learning curve for being able to get in front of people and have a chat.
Yeah. Yeah. And I guess that is part of life, isn't it? If opportunities are presented to you, like you say yes.
Yeah.
And see what happens.
Yeah.
Because you never know what's going to come out of something, do you?
Exactly.
Yeah. And you might think you've done a presentation, it never went anywhere, blah, 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 blah. But then 5 years down the track, somebody will say, oh, I saw you at the so-and-so conference. Can we catch up about doing this together or whatever it is? I mean, it's incredible.
Yeah, it is really amazing. Actually, after the speech, I just remembered I had a uni student was there, and she came up to me and was like, that was just amazing. I can't believe you did that. And it meant so much to me. So now I've sort of put it in the back of my head like that. I loved that. And I was so grateful for her coming out of her way to say that. It meant so much to me. So now when I see people do public speaking, straight away I'm straight over there and I'm like, you did an incredible job, because it is really hard to do, and it's scary. And then, it's so special when someone goes out of their way to say you've actually done a pretty good job. Yeah,
but that lifts both of you, doesn't it? Yeah. And it makes both of you feel good, makes you feel, and gives you more confidence for the next one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I do the same thing. I love, well, as you know, this is why we do this podcast, because what's interesting about doing this podcast is even when you've done your story today, and then a lot of my podcast interviewees, after we've turned the mics off, say, I didn't realize I'd done all that.
Yeah.
Because you don't really think about your story too much sometimes, especially when when you interview somebody in their 50s and they go through their career. Oh, I forgot about that bit. And, and they suddenly realize how much they've actually achieved over their lives, and it makes them feel good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is such a good thing, which is why I love doing the podcast so much. With unlimited boating, access to thousands of boats worldwide, and everything taken care of, our members enjoy boating without the hassle. That's freedom. Freedom Boat Club, North Sydney and Hunter. Call 02 9457 2000 or email us at curious@freedomboatclub.com. So, anything you want to share with us about Eden Craft that we haven't spoken about today?
Oh, I've got no idea. It's a bit of a loaded question.
I know you did a lot of work on the branding, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. What did you change on that and why?
So first of all, we did the logo. So our big E logo was pretty much the first thing that we did. Incredibly passionate about sales and marketing, that side of things, and how important it is to really elevate a brand. And I knew we built an amazing product, but it was that typical thing of like, you're the world's best kept secret. So I really wanted to bridge that gap and make it known to the world how incredible Eden Craft boats are, and make sure that the branding was at the same level as well. So I love all of that sort of stuff. I'm massive on it. It was pretty hard work trying to convince Dad that we need a marketing manager 6 years ago. He was the typical person that thought marketing's like not a real thing. So that was hard work. And now Dad certainly does appreciate marketing and how important it is for a brand, and making sure that people who want to buy a boat that suits them, that they know what the options are, and putting ourselves in that option list.
Yeah. And did you use a particular medium for getting it out there? Did you go socials? Did you go LinkedIn? Did you go website and Google? What was the driver?
It was socials, so Facebook and Instagram mainly. Recently we've been using LinkedIn, and we actually use TikTok now. We've a family friend, he loves editing and making all of our reels, and I actually let him go and I said, you just do whatever you want on TikTok. Like, I'm not a TikToker. So I just said, go for it. And he showed me the other day that we've got 15,000 followers on TikTok.
Oh, amazing.
I couldn't believe it. I was like, wow, that's incredible. Like, good job.
Yeah.
I don't know much about TikTok. So that seems pretty good for like 2 years.
Yeah. So you haven't been dancing on the factory floor then?
Yeah, I've been getting up on the deck. No. Yeah, so definitely Facebook and Instagram is sort of what I'm across. So I probably should adapt to TikTok a little bit, because it is pretty powerful. Recently we've been selling a few boats from the sons, so like say 13 to 18-year-old boys are like hounding their parents to buy an Eden Craft. So they've actually found out about us from their children, and then they're the buyer. So it's like at the moment our target market is sort of a 13 to 18-year-old, and also sort of a 40 to 60-year-old.
That's amazing. Yeah. So,
yeah, it's pretty incredible.
Yeah, because there's nothing like a child hounding their parent to get a result on sales, is there?
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, that's fascinating.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That's a bit of a mind-blowing moment there for lots of the boating industry people out there that, you know, because I myself, somebody said to me, are you on TikTok? And I said, I'm too old for TikTok. And they said, oh. I went, oh. So, you know, you just don't know, do you?
Yeah, you really, really have no idea. So, I definitely love that aspect of everything. And then I guess coming back to your original question, what is on the horizon for us at the moment is we really want to expand globally. So we're looking for international dealers and starting to sell our boats overseas. So we're pretty fortunate. We always have a supply and demand problem, which means that our secondhand boats sell for good money. So our customers, genuinely speaking, if they have their boat for 3 years, they'll sell it for what they paid for, or they'll even make a bit of money, especially during the COVID times. They were making a fair bit of money if they sold their boat. So we always want to have that issue, but we do want to increase our production and continue to grow. So the method for that for us is to expand internationally. Yeah. And that's why we've got Joel, who we've just hired. He's down driving the boat all this weekend.
Yes.
And we're just doing that and then expanding our range as well. So moving into center consoles and then some bigger boats in the next few years, and just keep on continuing to grow is the plan.
Yeah. Yeah. So you've taken on a BDM in Joel.
Yeah.
So you're probably presumably having to step a little back to let him do stuff.
Yeah. It's been really incredible actually having someone else there to lean on a little bit, and I've known him for a really long time, so I trust him, and it's definitely made a big difference. A couple of the workers actually mentioned it, so I think it's been pretty obvious, so it's great.
That's great.
Yeah.
So you've got a boat here actually demonstrating, haven't you?
Yeah.
With Mercury, right?
Yep. Yeah. So Merc have taken our boat, and we've got twin V10 400s on it. So a whopping 800 horsepower on a 25-foot boat. It's pretty incredible. Yeah. We're here with Merc, but we've been able to do test drives for anyone looking to buy an Eden Craft, and then obviously showing off how incredible the engines are. So, yeah, it's been a really great weekend. It's the first time we've ever had water testing available at an actual show.
Yeah.
And I definitely think we'll do it again. It's been an incredibly positive feedback. Already have sold 2 boats. So it's
brilliant.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Sydney Boat Show's really stepped it up this year. They've got more demos going on. There's a lot more interactivity of events like the Melanoma Institute are doing all those fun things downstairs with the Cancer Institute and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And there's a lot more activity and things to do and things to learn. And I one of the things that makes me really happy is the whole sailing setup they've got, which is between the marina part of the show and the inside part of the show. And you don't actually have to pay to see that. So there's all people getting, like, even I got up on stage and spoke about how to get into boating and all that sort of stuff. And that's all free. That's just, if you're passing by, just have a listen and enjoy that moment. So, and little kids climbing all over sailboats with people like, Lily Peel and the amazing Katie Spithill. And they're just, they're incredible sailors that are just, they're helping these little kids getting on these boats.
Yeah.
I mean, that's mind-blowing. So, yeah. So I think Sydney's really stepped it up, and it's been good having your boats out there and, showing people what they can do with that damn big engine on the back.
Yeah, a very big engine. And it is. It's a really great vibe this weekend, and the weather's been beautiful. So it's been incredible. And I think I mentioned it to you the other night. We actually came to Sydney Boat Show with 7 boats in 2018.
Yeah.
And that was probably a big catalyst actually for what really set Eden Craft off in Australia. And we still sell boats to this day from that show.
Yeah. Amazing. Yeah. I think sometimes we underestimate the impact Sydney Boat Show has on businesses. Sometimes, brokers go away saying, "Oh, we didn't sell a boat," but you never know what that moment with that person actually. I was actually talking to Carbon Yachts yesterday.
Yeah.
We did a little boat show at our Bobbin Head Marina about in April, and they were there, and they didn't sell a boat at our show, but a person has come to Sydney Boat Show that went to Bobbin Head show and wants to buy the boat.
Yeah.
So, it's the impact is, I think, especially buying boats, it builds. People don't do it there. They build and they get to it, you know. So,
absolutely.
Giving themselves permission kind of thing over a period of time.
Plant that seed, and it's a pretty big investment, and it's a whole family decision. It's a lot of the time it's like the biggest investment you make after buying a house, so it doesn't happen instantly, and it's those micro interactions that end up paying off in the long run.
Yeah. Okay, so you've come into the boating industry differently because your family have bought the company and you are now very heavily involved in that business. For those women out there looking to come into the boating industry, what would you say to them?
It is a lot of fun. Definitely do it. I think if you love people, if you're a people person and you love being on the water, or even if you wanted to go and do a trade, boat building, I don't know much about aluminium, but with fiberglass, like you really learn such a wide variety of skills. So a fiberglass boat builder, you learn things like carpentry, you can like detailing, resprays, all the fiberglass. Then you can do your marine electronics. We do stainless steel in-house. We're moving to do upholstery in-house eventually. Everything, it's just such a wide variety. And for us especially, like because everything's in-house, if we have someone that's a boat builder and they decide they love the industry but they don't necessarily want to be a boat builder anymore, we'll move them into the office and redeploy them and put them somewhere that really makes them happy. And it's an incredible industry if you're passionate about it. It's a bit cliche, but you do genuinely feel like you're not working. I think you have to have the passion. I've found that if you're not passionate about the industry or boats or really love what you're building or selling or doing, then it makes it quite hard because everyone else in the industry is so passionate, and you really need to have that little knack, I think, to really succeed. But yeah, it's such an incredible industry. I love boat shows and I love trade shows. And just everyone is really incredibly nice, I think.
Yeah.
Actually, Ali, who's working for Mercury. She's only been working for Mercury for a short time. I think she said it might have been her first boat show. And one of the comments that she made the other day was like, everyone's just so nice. And I'm like, yeah, they really are.
Yeah.
And people generally, I think, want to help one another, which I think is pretty special. I'm not sure if that's a typical thing for industry, but I know for us, anytime I've ever contacted another boat builder or someone else within the industry, they're always just so nice and so helpful. And I know I've mentioned it to mum and dad a few times. I'm like, why are they just so generous? Like, why are they so nice with their knowledge?
Yeah. Yeah. I think it is a unique thing in the boating industry.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if it's unique, but it's a special thing in the boating industry.
Yeah. It is. It's so special. I think maybe it is quite a challenge, but it's a great challenge. I think most of the people in the industry, you don't do it to sit back and kick back and relax. Like you like being challenged and like to live a pretty fast-paced life. And then I think you meet like-minded people and they appreciate the challenge and then they want to help you navigate that as well. So it's really special.
Yeah. Oh, amazing. So if somebody wants to get in touch with Edencraft, how do they do so?
So they can check us out on our website, so www.edencraft.com.au, and then we have the iterations of that. So Edencraft Marine or Edencraft Creative, you can contact on that, or you can give us a call using any of the numbers on the website, or send us an email to admin@edencraft.com.au.
And you're on Instagram?
Yes, yeah, Instagram, edencraft.boats, I think. Or Edencraft.international, I think we changed it. Should have checked that before we came on.
But they'll Edencraft, they'll search and they'll get it, won't they?
Yeah, you'll see our big E logo if you type in Edencraft, and if the page has boats, that'll be us.
Amazing. Josie, thank you so much for coming in to see us.
No worries. Thank you for having me, Nikki. It's been very special to know you the last 12 months as well.
Oh, thank you. Thanks, guys, for listening. I hope you enjoyed listening to Josie. She is a fabulous woman, and it's been a pleasure to have her here today. We'll see you on the water soon. Well, it's been lovely to have you listen out there, folks. I really appreciate your ears. And if you'd like to get in contact, just follow me on Instagram @theboatprincess, and perhaps leave me a comment on today's picture of our podcast so that we can get an idea of what you thought about it. That'd be lovely. Take care, and we'll see you on the water soon.